Hello, everyone. She was the face of an era, the woman whose beauty mark became more famous than most models' entire careers. Cindy Crawford was not just another supermodel of the 90s, she was the supermodel. Her all-American smile, impossibly toned body, and down-to-earth charm made her the rare model who could rule both high-fashion runways and mainstream pop culture. From the covers of Vogue to the Pepsi commercial that stopped the world, Cindy became a household name, not just in fashion capitals, but in living rooms everywhere. She was glamorous yet approachable, a symbol of perfection who somehow still felt real. But behind the effortless confidence was a woman navigating intense fame, the pressures of perfection, and a rapidly changing industry. This is the story of how Cindy Crawford became the ultimate icon and why no one has truly replaced her since. Cindy Crawford was born on February 20th, 1966 in DeKalb, Illinois, a small Midwestern town far removed from the glamour of Paris or Milan. Her childhood was defined not by luxury, but by the rhythms of ordinary American life. Her father worked as an electrician, and her mother was a bank teller. The Crawfords were a close-knit, hardworking family who valued discipline, humility, and education. Cindy grew up as the second of 4 children, and her early years were marked by both warmth and tragedy. When she was just 10 years old, her younger brother Jeffrey was diagnosed with leukemia. The illness and his eventual passing left a deep imprint on Cindy, instilling a maturity and emotional strength well beyond her years. It also gave her a profound appreciation for family and the fleeting nature of life, something she would carry into her adult career. As a teenager, Cindy excelled academically. She was an honors student and a member of the National Honor Society, with dreams of becoming a chemical engineer. Her striking looks were obvious to those around her, but modeling was not part of her plan. That changed unexpectedly when a local photographer spotted her during her high school years. She was asked to pose for a series of pictures, and those images quickly circulated, attracting the attention of modeling scouts. Despite her natural beauty, Cindy faced early skepticism. She was told her trademark mole above her lip was a flaw, something she should consider removing. But her mother encouraged her to keep it, reminding her that it made her unique. That decision would later prove pivotal, turning what some saw as an imperfection into one of the most recognizable features in fashion history. By the time she graduated from DeKalb High School in 1984, Cindy had already dipped her toes into the modeling world. She received a scholarship to study chemical engineering at Northwestern University. But the growing opportunities in modeling quickly began to conflict with her academic schedule. After just one semester, she made the bold choice to leave college and pursue modeling full-time, a decision that would change her life forever. From the cornfields of Illinois to the brink of the global fashion stage, Cindy's journey was already remarkable. She was stepping into a world where her Midwestern roots, resilience, and intelligence would set her apart from the start. Cindy Crawford's entry into the modeling world was not a fairy tale of instant stardom, but rather a series of small, deliberate steps that revealed her discipline and adaptability. After leaving Northwestern University, she moved to Chicago to pursue modeling full-time, signing with Elite Model Management's local branch. The Chicago market was smaller than New York or Los Angeles, but it provided Cindy with a foundation to learn the craft posing, runway etiquette, and the business side of fashion. Her first real taste of the industry came from catalog and department store shoots, where she learned how to work with cameras, stylists, and clients. While these jobs were not glamorous, Cindy approached them with professionalism that set her apart. She arrived early, studied how more experienced models carried themselves, and worked tirelessly to perfect her angles. In 1986, Elite Model Management founder John Casablancas recognized her potential and encouraged her to move to New York City. The transition was daunting. Cindy had never lived in a city so large or fast-paced, but she quickly adapted. Within months, she was walking for major designers and appearing in high-fashion editorials. Her combination of athletic, all-American beauty and razor-sharp intelligence made her stand out in a market dominated by more traditionally delicate European features. One of her earliest breakthroughs was working with photographer Richard Avedon for a Vogue spread. The collaboration introduced Cindy to the upper echelons of the fashion world, and soon, she was in demand for both editorial and commercial work, a rare feat in an industry that often forced models to choose one path. But the real turning point came in 1988 when Cindy posed for the cover of American Vogue. This was not just another magazine feature, it marked the beginning of her becoming a household name. That same year, she appeared in Playboy, photographed by Herb Ritts. While some questioned her decision, Cindy embraced it as an opportunity to control her own image, showing that sensuality and power could coexist. Television would also become a crucial part of her rise. In 1989, MTV launched House of Style, with Cindy as its host. The show was a cultural phenomenon, blending fashion, music, and pop culture in a way that made her approachable to audiences far beyond the runway. Unlike many models who remained distant figures, Cindy spoke directly to fans, offering them a behind-the-scenes look at the glamorous yet demanding world of fashion. By the early 90s, she was working with the industry's biggest names, Gianni Versace, Chanel, Revlon, Pepsi, and had secured contracts that elevated her into the elite ranks of the big 5 supermodels. Alongside Naomi Campbell, Christy Turlington, Linda Evangelista, and Claudia Schiffer. Still, Cindy's early years in the industry were not without challenges. She had to navigate constant scrutiny over her appearance, with critics both praising and dissecting her every look. She also faced skepticism for balancing high fashion with commercial work, as purists believed the two worlds should remain separate. Yet Cindy proved them wrong, becoming a rare figure who could dominate both. Her career was not the product of luck alone, it was the result of calculated decisions, a relentless work ethic, and a refusal to be boxed into one role. By the end of the 80s, Cindy Crawford was no longer just a promising model. She was a brand, a personality, and a force the fashion world could not ignore. By the early 1990s, Cindy Crawford was no longer just a successful model. She was a global phenomenon. She had become one of the most recognizable faces in the world, seamlessly blending the exclusivity of high fashion with the accessibility of mainstream culture. Her runway presence was magnetic. Whether she was striding down the catwalk for Gianni Versace in a figure-hugging gown, or commanding the stage at Chanel in Karl Lagerfeld's meticulously tailored suits, Cindy carried herself with a mix of elegance and athletic strength. Her walk was confident yet unhurried, her posture perfect, and her eye contact unflinching. Editorially, she was everywhere. She graced the covers of Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Elle, and Cosmopolitan, often multiple times in a single year. Photographers like Herb Ritts, Patrick Demarchelier, and Peter Lindbergh sought her out, knowing she could deliver a look that was both timeless and contemporary. She became part of the legendary 1990 British Vogue cover, alongside Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, and Tatiana Patitz, a single image that defined the era of the supermodel. Commercially, Cindy broke barriers. In 1992, her now iconic Pepsi commercial debuted during the Super Bowl, instantly cementing her in pop culture history. Wearing a simple white tank top and denim shorts, she turned a soft drink ad into a moment that people still reference decades later. It was proof that Cindy's appeal went far beyond the runway. She could sell high fashion and soda with the same effortless charm. Her role as host of MTV's House of Style further solidified her influence. The program gave viewers unprecedented access to the behind-the-scenes world of fashion, and Cindy's warmth and intelligence made her a natural communicator. She wasn't just a silent face in a magazine. She was a personality audiences connected with. Her contracts reflected her status. Multi-million-dollar deals with Revlon, Pepsi, and Omega watches placed her among the highest-paid models in the world. Yet, despite her commercial success, she never abandoned high fashion. She continued to work with designers like Ralph Lauren, Dolce & Gabbana, and Calvin Klein, proving she could maintain credibility in both worlds. This was Cindy's golden era, a time when she could walk off a Paris runway, appear in a music video, and host a television show, all in the same month. She was more than a model. She was a symbol of the 90s itself, but in an industry that thrives on the next big thing. Maintaining that level of visibility came with its own pressures that would eventually shape the next chapter of her career. In an industry often obsessed with youth, fragility, and a certain narrow idea of beauty, Cindy Crawford refused to fit neatly into the mold. She was not the waif-like, ethereal figure so common on the runways of the time. Instead, she brought a strong, athletic presence that radiated health, confidence, and power. Her toned physique, honed through regular workouts, was a departure from the fragile silhouettes many designers favored, and it made her an icon for a new kind of beauty. Her famous mole was another act of quiet rebellion. Early in her career, agents and photographers suggested removing it to conform to industry perfection. Cindy refused, choosing instead to embrace it as a defining feature. What others saw as an imperfection became a trademark, a reminder that individuality could be a model's greatest asset. Cindy also challenged the idea that models should remain voiceless and mysterious. Through her work on MTV's House of Style, she showed audiences that she was articulate, witty, and approachable. She discussed fashion in a way that felt inclusive, breaking down the elitism often associated with the industry. In doing so, she blurred the line between model and celebrity, a move that helped pave the way for future generations. She was equally unapologetic about pursuing commercial work alongside high fashion. At a time when some believed commercial modeling diminished a model's credibility, Cindy saw no reason to limit herself. She moved effortlessly from the covers of Vogue to television ads for Pepsi and Revlon, proving that mass appeal did not mean sacrificing artistic integrity. Off the runway, she used her platform to advocate for causes close to her heart, particularly childhood cancer research, a cause rooted in her brother's battle with leukemia. This added depth to her public image, showing that her influence extended beyond beauty and fashion. Cindy's professionalism also set her apart. She was known for arriving early, being fully prepared, and treating every member of the crew with respect. In an industry often clouded by ego and diva behavior, her grounded approach earned her lasting respect from photographers, designers, and peers alike. Her refusal to conform, combined with her ability to navigate both the exclusive world of haute couture and the mainstream entertainment industry, made her one of the most versatile and enduring models of her time. Cindy Crawford was not just playing the fashion game, she was rewriting its rules. By the late 1990s, Cindy Crawford was still one of the most sought-after names in fashion. But the landscape of the modeling industry was beginning to shift. The rise of younger faces, the changing aesthetic toward thinner and edgier looks, and the growing dominance of celebrity culture meant that supermodels were no longer the unquestioned queens of the spotlight. Cindy began to reassess her place in the industry. She had been modeling at the highest level for over a decade, traveling constantly, maintaining an intense schedule, and living under relentless scrutiny. The lifestyle that had once been exhilarating began to feel exhausting. In 2000, she officially announced her retirement from full-time runway modeling, signaling the end of an era. Her personal life also drew public attention. In 1991, she married Hollywood actor Richard Gere in a whirlwind romance that fascinated the tabloids. But the marriage lasted only 4 years, and the breakup, while handled privately, fed into the constant speculation surrounding her life. Later, she found stability with businessman Randa Gerber, with whom she had 2 children. Becoming a mother shifted her priorities, as she began to focus more on family than on the demands of the fashion world. Cindy also faced moments of professional miscalculation. Some critics argued that her heavy involvement in commercial endorsements diluted her high fashion image. Others noted that her ventures into acting, including a lead role in the 1995 action thriller Fair Game, were met with negative reviews, reinforcing the public's perception that she was best suited for modeling. Physically, she confronted the reality of aging in an industry obsessed with youth. While she maintained her health and appearance, Cindy was vocal about refusing to chase unrealistic standards. She admitted to feeling the pressure, but also spoke openly about the value of experience and confidence over mere physical perfection. By stepping away from the constant churn of runway shows and editorials, Cindy left a noticeable void in fashion. Her absence was felt not because she faded into obscurity, but because she exited at the height of her power, leaving audiences to wonder what more she could have achieved if she had stayed, though she never truly disappeared. Her presence shifted from the forefront of fashion to a more selective, curated involvement. It was a quiet retreat, but one that reflected her control over her own career, something few models have been able to manage on their own terms. Today, Cindy Crawford stands as one of the most enduring symbols of the supermodel era. She is remembered not only for her beauty, but for redefining what a model could be: intelligent, articulate, and in control of her own image. Her mole, once considered a flaw, became a mark of individuality embraced by millions. Her presence in both high fashion and mass-market advertising broke barriers, proving that influence could transcend the runway. Cindy's legacy is visible in the generation of models who followed her, women like Gisele Bündchen, Karlie Kloss, and her own daughter, Kaya Gerber, who have each navigated careers balancing editorial prestige with commercial appeal. She showed that a model could be more than a face. She could be a brand, a voice, and a cultural figure. Even decades after stepping away from full-time modeling, Cindy's name still carries weight. Her interviews remain refreshingly candid, her public appearances poised yet approachable. She represents a kind of glamour that feels rare in the digital age, one built not on fleeting trends, but on a deep connection with her audience. Perhaps that is her greatest contribution. She made beauty feel human, and in doing so, she changed how the world sees it. The question now is not whether Cindy Crawford left her mark on fashion. It is whether fashion will ever see someone quite like her again.